Hey everybody, welcome back to One Man's Perspective. We are here to talk about yesterday's World Cup game day 5. And what I will say is, sorry we missed you yesterday. It was Thanksgiving here in the US, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody who celebrates. That said, let's get into this day 5 recap. So, day starts off with Cameroon versus Switzerland. Switzerland, very good team, very defensively stout, always just a difficult team to break down, consistently in and around the top 10, top 15 teams in the world. And then Cameroon, who are one of the better teams in Africa. To me, honestly, they were incredibly unlucky not to win this game. They ended up losing 1-0, but they were the better team, in my opinion, for the entire game. Switzerland had a better game plan in the second half once they went 1-0 up through Breel Mbolo, who unfortunately for Cameroon was born in Cameroon, but moved to Switzerland when he was 5 and declared for Switzerland and has played for them for a while. That said, credit to him for not celebrating. That is a testament to his character, and honestly, good on you for that. That said, Cameroon, I think, again, very unlucky to lose this game. Could easily have won this game if they had taken their chances, but that is essentially the big thing in the World Cup. If you don't take your chances, you give up a goal somewhere or make a mistake in some possibility in later in the game, you essentially could potentially lose a game, and that is exactly what happened in Cameroon yesterday. So Cameroon very unlucky to lose that game. So Switzerland, I think you need to play a whole lot better if you want to advance out of the group. Cameroon, I think you keep that game plan going the way that you play, with that intensity, that passion, that verve, and you have a good chance of getting out of the group. So Cameroon, sorry that you lost yesterday. Switzerland, you got a long ways to go to be at your true best. That said, let's get into the second game of the day. Uruguay, South Korea. First off, really glad to see Heung-min Son out for South Korea, performing in his mask. Obviously had the eye socket fracture right before the tournament, and luckily he was able to join the team. So glad that he's here, because he brings a whole lot of energy to that South Korean team, which already has a whole lot of passion and energy. That said, Uruguay, to many outside favorites, or I guess underdog, dark horses for the tournament. That said, this had to be arguably one of the most boring games I've ever seen at a World Cup. I read that literally throughout the entire game, there was not a single shot on target by either team, which is the first time that has ever happened in the World Cup. That said, Uruguay did hit the post twice. And Fede Valverde, had he actually converted the one where he hit the post, would have been one of the goals of the tournament, because that was an incredible strike. But enough said about this game. Honestly, it was incredibly boring. We'll see how that group plays out, but Uruguay would be, in my opinion, favorites to get out of that group of those two teams. Next game of the day was Portugal-Ghana. VAR controversies in this game in the first half, chalking off a, Cristiano Ronaldo goal. But honestly, the first half was relatively boring. I'm just going to be honest. It was very much played in the middle of the pitch. Not a lot of attacking, really, by both teams. I mean, they tried, but it was just much more of a midfield battle. So just for the neutral, kind of a boring game in the first half. The second half, on the other hand, polar opposite, absolutely jumped out of the gates. Finished 3-2 to Portugal. First goal started off with what I would call an incredibly soft penalty call. And honestly, to me, it was more of a dive by Ronaldo to win this penalty. He should have, in my opinion, been yellow carded for simulation and gotten given a free kick. But that's not how the game went. He was there, wanted a free kick. He scored a goal. Pinaldo does what he does, whatever his stupid celebration. That said, then it just was like an open game, and honestly, it was super good. Ghana pegged back 1-1. Then João Felix decided, what, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. Boom, 2-1. Then Rafael Leao had a really nice goal, 3-1 up. And honestly, he's gonna be somebody to watch out for in the summer window. I have a feeling he's moving on from AC Milan. A lot of big teams, could use somebody who has that versatility across the front line. Manchester United, I'm just saying. There's a lot of other teams as well. Man City's being linked. But again, he's one to watch out for, I think, both in this World Cup and for the rest of the season with AC Milan, and we'll see where he is next year. That said, at that point, it's 3-1, and they're like, all right, whatever, in my mind, it's like, okay, time to, play the game out, hold out for this win, game management, but I don't know what these players were thinking. They're like pinging the ball around, having a super open game, giving the ball away. 89th minute, Andre Ayew, captain for Ghana, 3-2. And then it's a frantic, end of the game where Diogo Costa, who's a phenomenal goalkeeper for Porto, who I really, really enjoy watching, and who's being linked with actually Manchester United yet again as David De Gea's replacement next year, made what could have been a meme moment at the end of the game where he literally rolled the ball out but didn't see Inaki Williams right behind him, who snuck in and got the ball. And if it wasn't for Ruben Diaz, they would have given up that goal right at the very end of the game and tied the game 3-3. So for me, my takeaway from this game is Ghana has the potential to hurt you. They are actually a very good team. They play with passion, just like all African teams. They have a sound approach to the game. I think that they were unlucky to lose this game. I think, honestly, a 2-2 draw, taking away the contentious Ronaldo penalty would have been a fair result. I think that Portugal, again, also dark horses for a lot of people. A lot of people consider them like outside favorites for the World Cup. Need to play a whole lot better. They clearly show some defensive frailties, which is shocking because they actually have Ruben Diaz, who's a phenomenal defender at the heart of their defense, and really just have a solid team across the board. Although I will say João Cancelo had a very off game, which is shocking for him, especially as a Man City fan. Who's been in superb form all season, is arguably one of the best fullbacks in the world, but he had a off game, and I think to a degree multiple players in that team, including Ronaldo, actually had an off game. So I think Portugal needs to tighten up. I think they have the potential to actually be those dark horses that people are talking about, but I do think that this game showed that there are some frailties, there are some defensive deficiencies that can be exploited, like Ghana did. But again, this was a phenomenal second half of a game. The first half was mind-numbing, but truly, this is an interesting group. So keep an eye on this one. Last game of the day, Brazil-Serbia. Lots of things to take away from this game. I mean, Brazil is Brazil. They played a very good game. Serbia is a very doggedly defensive team. They're very good on the counterattack. They essentially have a tough team to break down. So it finished 0-0 at the half. Some opportunities, but nothing that was like really glaring in that first half. Second half ends up with a brace for Richarlison. The second goal being a phenomenal scissor kick goal that's worthy of watching over and over again. Just, if you are a big fan of acrobatic goals, watch this one, guys. It's pretty incredible. That said, I think what's interesting to me is this game really, like Serbia is just a tough team. They basically kicked the hell out of Neymar to the point where he left the game, due to his ankle injury, and now is, from what I'm reading today, is ruled out for the rest of the group stages because of a swollen ankle, which is unfortunate for this Brazil team. Luckily for them, they have an incredibly deep squad. They have the ability to truly, I guess, cover his loss, and his loss is a big loss for them. But I think they're still getting out of this group. I mean, Brazil are one of the strongest teams in the World Cup. I think that there is really no way that they don't. But that said, the second half was very good. I mean, Brazil showed why they're favorites. They showed a maturity to their team. They showed class. Just their incredible approach to football in general. So for me, Brazil are still, I would say, one of the favorites of the tournament. That said, that essentially ended the group stage, game one for all groups. I guess my takeaway from the whole week, of action essentially is this, and we'll leave it real soon after, is that England looked really good. France looked really good. Spain looked phenomenal. And I'd say Brazil. Those are your four teams that I think you need to keep an eye on, going into the next round, because I think all of those teams make it to the next round. That said, Argentina and Germany, I mean, you don't want to say a whole lot about that. Saudi Arabia fully deserved their win against Argentina, but I think they will bounce back and probably make it through the group stage, no question in my mind. Germany, I think you're actually in trouble, honestly. That you deservedly lost to Japan, who took it to you in the second half and honestly deserved their win. But I think you're overconfident. I think you're unfortunately you're going up against this incredible Spain team next. If you lose that game, you're out of the tournament, and that would be the second World Cup in a row you lose in the group stages or leave in the group stage. So for me, I think Germany need to take this next game pragmatically. I think they need to try to nullify Spain as much as they can and hope for a draw. I don't think you're winning this game. I really don't. But to me, some of these teams like the Germanys, Portugal, who showed their deficiencies in this game yesterday, excuse me, and other teams like Croatia, who drew with Morocco. These are the teams that people are like talking about as potential opportunities to win the World Cup, and I think that those teams have shown that there are some glaring issues that they need to deal with if they are to make it to the next round. That said, the World Cup's the World Cup, man. I love it. I have enjoyed this entire week. I'm looking forward to the next group of games. Today, we've got some games that have already played. We'll reach into those later on today in our recap. But tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys thought of week one. Tell me what you think were the contentious points, because there were many during this group of games. Tell me if you think there's any team that should feel unlucky or feel as if they deserved more. I'd love to hear what you guys think, but come back later on today. I'm going to do yet another recap at the end of the day today for day 6. And honestly, guys, enjoy the World Cup. Have fun. Just be respectful in commentary, but please leave comments, subscribe, hit the like, and really just check us out. This is One Man's Perspective. I'll catch up with you next time, okay? Cheers, everybody.